The goal for the IVPA is to, number one, yes, get some revenue generation so the association can get stronger, but also bring value to our members. So, I mean, this looks like something that could really bring value.
The biggest issue with most association groups is their main source of revenue is memberships, and it's spray and pray and hope that they get more members. 10 minutes at a time, you're saving $33,000 a year. That's not peanuts. Corporate might not be counting those pennies, but the independent practice certainly is. My name's Chris. As you know, I'm the founder of Practice Experts. We do marketing with a focus on AI. We've really narrowed down to veterinary medicine. My background is out of manufacturing. So I spent the last 25 years using, at the time we called it automation, but it was AI. We were using software and cyber connected tools to make decisions on the assembly line. I've been doing it for a long time. I got burnt out from the whole manufacturing industry when the pandemic hit. Things kind of got a little crazy. People got a little crazy. And so I started shifting my gears, and so I'm moving more towards vet med. So I'm exclusively dealing with veterinarians. And as a result of that, I've met some really cool people, some awesome people. Just to let you know too, the reason for my drive towards veterinary medicine is mental health is very close, near and dear to my family. And I started looking into it and realizing how massive of an issue it is in the industry. So like, you know what, I think I want to get involved in, I can't help directly. I'm not a doctor, but is there anything I can do to make people's lives easier, make their day-to-day a little better? And so one of the things we can do is we can drive forward with AI to help reduce some stress and some burden on, a very busy, high stress environment. As you can see, so we built our website, and one of the things, Dr. Toth, that we found is most of the AI solutions in the veterinary space focuses on veterinaries' time. It makes sense because it's a very large part of the cost of the day-to-day operations, and when they get bottlenecked, everything slows down. But going back to my experience with manufacturing, one of the hardest things that we experienced was adoption from people in the surrounding area. All the engineers, the leadership, it wasn't hard to sell them on automation and AI. It makes sense for numbers. The problem is the surrounding supporting staff don't buy in. They're intimidated by it. They're scared by it. They don't know how they can help with it. They're worried about breaking it. And this is probably the biggest issue is the man has his eye on me, right? So everyone's worried that they're being monitored. Everyone's worried that they're going to screw up. They're going to get caught. So a lot of it is with the adoption, we find the communication process is important. But when we start doing the communication from the bottom up and we start working with the administrators and we drive AI into the operation from a foundational level as opposed to from the top down, it brings together adoption and it also brings together collaboration amongst all of their peers, whereas they don't feel like they need to go to the doctor and say, hey, I'm screwing this up. How do I fix it? No, I'm wasting your time. Most of websites nowadays have chatbots on them. So one of the things that we found when we did our investigation is the chatbots are very mono-useful, as in they can handle certain things on a website. We can train them on a little bit of knowledge from your website, but they don't have the ability to have omni communication presence across all the platforms that your people are dealing with. And let me just break it down a little bit. We've got 3 different doctors working multiple shifts. We've got a whole bunch of staff, administrators. We've got an outside company doing website and marketing stuff. And one of the issues that we find is that who's looking at the Facebook chat window? Who's looking at Instagram? You start looking at all these different avenues of chatting or communication from a client into the clinic. It starts getting very difficult to manage. So what we've done is we've bundled everything under one roof. And it might sound like I'm pitching you for a chat bot for the veterinary hospital, and I'm not. That's not what I'm doing. I want to give you the foundational knowledge, and I will get into the IVPA stuff and help you understand, because it's a big portion of why we drove into this direction. So any of the membership for the IVPA that comes here, there's a significant savings for them, and there's also revenue generating opportunity for the IVPA, which I think is probably the biggest issue with most association groups is their main source of revenue is memberships, and it's kind of spray and pray and hope that they get more members because most of it's done on a volunteer basis. I'm guessing the IVPA is the same way. I'm sure you don't have a whole bunch of paid staff. So here's what we've done. We've built this calculator. We've got it set at 25. You can see it auto calculates. And if you get 100 website visitors a day and 30 engage or 25 engage, and I can just leave it at 30, you can see it populates. But what it's doing is it's showing the clinic owner or the doctor how much time's being saved by engagement on the website as opposed to taking up support staff time. So this was something that we found 10 minutes at a time, you're saving $33,000 a year. That's not peanuts, especially for an independent practice. Corporate might not be counting those pennies, but the independent practice certainly is. So when the members land on the page, they can come in, they can gain some understanding. We want the chatbot to engage with visitors so that they're not taking up staff time, with the opportunity to transfer to live if necessary, or if they're too busy and there's certain times throughout the day, or if someone's sick and they're too busy to transfer to live to man the phones, we can transfer to email. So it's like, hey, look, fill out this form, talk to the chatbot will send it into email. Someone will call you from that email. And we're also working on doing voicemail to email. So if someone wants to just press a button, leave a voicemail, it'll just go to email. You'll get an MP3 file when someone has time to look at it. So some of the stuff we can do is we will ensure that for IVPA members, we'll offer a white glove service. We'll do the whole turnkey. You don't have to worry about getting your IT guy. We can handle all of it. And then as we continue down this path, there's more options that we can integrate and offer to the IVPA members. And one of the challenges that we have, and I'm sure you've experienced this as well, is the adoption is overwhelming, right? So if we go at them and I say, look, we've got 400 features, which ones do you want? People are going to be like, I don't know. I have no idea. So what we do is we'll set it up so that there's an introductory package and then a full scale package where we integrate ChatGPT so that they can harness AI from the internet. And if they're worried about security protocols and whatnot, we can set it up so there's an entry level package where everything resides at the same place your website resides. So if there's any security concerns, we can just eliminate them and say, look, it's as secure as your website. The phase 2 of this is we want to take the chatbot, and instead of being outward facing to the client, we want to turn it inward facing to the practice. So we can allow your staff members to ask it questions as it relates to business rules. So if you have HR functions, how many sick days do I get off? Ask the chatbot. We can call it whatever you want, right? So internally, there's a knowledge base where your staff can go to and harness, and it can be updated in real time. We can connect it to wherever you store your documents. If it's Google Drive, if it's on a local drive. But again, it's one of those features that if I throw it all out at the same time, it's going to overwhelm a lot of people.
So basically, this will allow for intra-office communications. Is that the best way to sum it up?
So it'll be single point communication where individuals can access the chatbot and ask the chatbot as a library of knowledge to gather information about the business. So you're onboarding a new employee and they have questions. They can just tag into the chatbot and just say, hey, how many days sick do I get off? Hey, it's my first time closing. Is there a closing checklist? And the chatbot will go and get whatever is necessary for a checklist and give them the ability so they can walk around with their phone in the chatbot and follow things through.
Okay. So addressing HR issues, standard operating procedures, things like that.
These are just some other features that we can do to help the staff. So it'll be secure on your local server or in the cloud, but whatever people are comfortable with. I don't want a veterinary owner to be in a position where they're like, oh, I got to go hire a security consultant to bring this in. So the chatbot can offer an interface so that your clients and your staff can have multi-language support. Collecting emails, we can add images in YouTube for support. And then as it relates to connectivity, as I've already mentioned, we can integrate it to give an omnipresence platform. So we can integrate, I don't know if you're familiar with Telegram, but it's very popular for security purposes, Instagram messaging, Facebook messaging, WhatsApp. I will put it this way, almost any software that has API access, we can integrate with them. So whatever your PIMs that you're using, we can likely integrate with it. In all likelihood, we will be able to. There might be some configuration requirements, but we can make it happen as long as get in contact with the PIMs. The other thing we can do too is we can create chat flows for discussions by integrating with conversational forums and with Google Dialogflow. So essentially we can have the chatbot and manage people into a certain direction. So would you like to learn this or would you like to learn that? Press A, press B. So we can get very intelligent that way and very sophisticated. When someone is interested from IVPA, we'll give them a form. They can just go to a website, fill out the form. They can put in their necessary information. One of our staff will reach out and contact them. We will walk them through and kind of give them an overview of everything that's necessary to make sure they don't feel overwhelmed. We'll program everything. We'll train the chatbot, and then we'll get it rolled out onto your website. It'll be ready to go. Most of the time we find, or we have found, is that it's usually the veterinary practice is too busy or the customer is too busy. So we work around whatever the other priorities are. Some of the big hitters, Accenture, IBM, and Business Insider, they've done surveys, just generally speaking to the positive aspect that chatbots can bring to the business. And then we got an FAQ section here that the clients will be able to see. We've created a revenue calculator for the association as well. So essentially, most membership associations, I know a little bit about the internal workings of them, and it's awfully difficult when there's a whole bunch of volunteers, at least in my experience. It's hard to get people on board because it requires either involvement, engagement, or time by people to make decisions, so that basically we don't have to worry about the volunteers overburdening themselves. We will give the association a turnkey solution. Basically, what we want to do is we want to offer a superior product to your members. We'll give it to them at a discount. The discount will be equal to or greater than their annual membership for IVPA. And then on top of that, we can create this calculator to help IVPA decide whether or not it works for them. Dr. Toth, how many members do you have right now?
We're about 700.
You're about 700. So let's just fill it out, see what happens. So let's say you're at 700 and we get 50% of them to sign up for the chatbot. So that's 350. So we get 125 and 125. In the first kick at the cat, if we can get 50% to sign up, we'd write you a check for $36,750. If some of the people are confused and they're not sure if they're interested, there's no time on this. We will set up a website for IVPA or a web page for IVPA membership only that is secure, that they will go to. They will be logged in as your clients, and it will be affiliate commissionable to you from us when they sign up. And the discount that I talked about for the membership, where we would make it equal to or greater than with their annual membership, that discount doesn't come out of your cut. So there isn't a number that gets deducted from this number based on whatever else we talked about. They're independent of each other.
So now let me ask you this, Chris. How many hospitals are you in now? Because I noticed your screen share shows you're still in the beta version. Or is that true? Are you still in beta testing? Or
I don't intend on going to any hospitals directly to start off with. I'm starting off with the industry associations, and I'm going to go state to state and IVPA. So one of the things that keeps coming back through my practice experts business and the marketing is the challenge that the independent veterinarians have trying to deal with the behemoth of corporate that's around the corner. And so some of the chatbots and the AI is a very good example of it. There's just the independents don't have the room or the money to have an AI person on board.
what are you looking at for enrollment fee, and what kind of contract are we talking?
There would be zero contract, so people can come and go as they please. We're not going to lock anyone into anything. If they leave the IVPA, we're not connected to who you have as part of your membership and who you don't. I'd like to work with someone internally to make sure that just the average random Joe isn't showing up saying, hey, I want their discount. But we can work through that. So there'll be a setup charge, but the white glove service for training the chatbot, basic tier entrance is $399. For the advanced tier, it will be $699, and that will be integration to like everything. We can do a discount, but it would be affordable, $150 a month. Plus, we would take off the IVPA discount off of that, so get down to $99 a month.
So as far as other associations, are you like trying to reach out to the state veterinary association?
Other than Christy and two other veterinarians, you're the first association I've spoken with, but we're going to scale up here in about a month. We're ready to go. Right now, we're doing all of our due diligence and our homework. So you are definitely ahead of the curve, and stick with the IVPA.
Now, this is very helpful. So the goal for the IVPA is to, number one, yes, get some revenue generation so the association can get stronger, but also bring value to our members. So, I mean, this looks like something that could really bring value. Now, let me ask you this. When do you anticipate that this will be ready to go live and actually sign up members?
Within like a week, maybe two at most. We're pretty much ready now. If it would benefit the IVPA, we would be more than happy to work something out where we did an added discount at the beginning to onboard some beta partners. We can give you like IVPA special discount. And while we're doing that, just like, hey, bear with us. We're going to have some questions for you. You know, we're going to want to work through the onboarding and whatnot. And we could work in some form of a relationship where we could harness the knowledge that we gain by deploying and work hand in hand with the IVPA, because it would really help us bring some clarity to our mission by gaining the understanding from the independent practices. And in the meantime, if there are any questions, or if you meet with any of your colleagues and they have questions, you have my email address. Just feel free to reach out. I appreciate your time, and I think it's great. And I really look forward to building a relationship with the IVPA and seeing if there's something we can do to help you guys compete against corporate.